Okay, so we was at this house, and it had like a whole bunch of rooms. I would say 5 rooms. It had 5 rooms. One room was the bedding was of this one couch that I used to have. It was my favorite couch, but I had to toss it. So I said I wanted that room, and then there was some other rooms, and my so we all chose a room, and I guess one of my family members called up somebody else because it was their house. So it was like, you've been looking for a house this whole time, and all you have to do is reach out to one of them. And I was like, well, go ahead and reach out for me. So I reached out. We got to stay the night. I don't know what the conversation was about. But then there was, we stayed, and it was like, I guess, people from other countries was coming to visit. And it was because that I guess some of their people had died. So they wound up flying into the country. And then there was this one, I guess it was called, well, it was like a little place, like Fun and Stuff or Chuck E. Cheese. It was like that, but it had the different games of each, like fun place that you've been through. They had every game there. Like you would find a Chuck E. Cheese game there, you would find a Fun and Stuff game there. Like it was full of every different game. But then, okay, so back to the room. The room had, what did it have? It had this, I don't know what it was, but the power source was plants. And there was another power source of this one particular, what was it? I think it was like a phone. No, the power source was a cell phone inside of it. So there was a cell phone inside of it. I don't know what it was though. The power source of this item was a cell phone. And I was laughing. Because I think it was like a flip phone or something. Some type of Android inside this power source. And I was rolling my butt off. I'm like, what? I can't think of what it was though. But I know that the cell phone gave it power. Dang, I can't think of what it was. But it was so crazy. I'm like, wow, this whole time we could have just been using this for this. It was a crazy dream, but it was like really, really weird. Like everything was so weird. It was strange. I'm trying to think of what it was though. Oh, it was a TV. It was a TV. So the cell phone gave the TV power source, and then it was a letter they had written on the television, and it said that, I guess they said that they would do whatever they could to get cable because they would rather have cable than communication. I was like, wow. So you would rather give up your phone for the television? It was so crazy. It was so crazy, but the stream was like, wow. But yeah, um, so yeah, we was just going into different rooms, and then eventually, this is the crazy part though. Okay, so eventually, we was all there until we wasn't because everybody turned into a ghost onto this one specific person. This one person was standing there, and she was just sitting there, and all of a sudden, everybody turned into ghosts. And then from ghosts, they became zombies. And then, but then we started feeding those zombies, and we began to what did we do? The zombie. I was even a zombie. I had turned into a zombie, and but we before we attacked, I guess they basically had negotiated with us, and it was like, you help me, I help you, because I guess the zombies could see. They can really see. They can see better than the living. And it reminded me of this one movie that I used to watch. It was called something of the dead, and it was like a whole bunch of series. I used to watch these series all the time. We used to watch these series all the time. The what happened in the series? Because the series was about these survivors, and they had to survive going from place to place to place, but the whole world was full of zombies. But it was a good series. That's what that just reminded me of. But yeah, they could see better. The zombies could see better than the living, so they negotiated with the living. The living negotiated with them. It was like, you hungry? You feed us, and you see. No, we feed you, and you see for us. Because they had a different type of sight than a living. So that's what the negotiation was, and they said they have to basically something about the food that they had to figure out some type of source to get their food. So in order to get their food, they had to use the zombies' eyes to see, and then they would get this. They would trade their eye, whatever they seen, the information or whatever they gave for their eyes. No, their eyes gave them information because they couldn't see what the zombies seen. So they was like, you give us whatever information or, whatever you see, you give us that information and we will give you food. So they made they negotiated with the zombies. So that was crazy. That part was crazy. Um, so yeah, I want to say I don't remember any more of the dream, but that dream was different. It got me thinking now. But yeah, trying to think what else I can get out of that dream. I think that's it. But if I can think about if anything else comes to me, I would definitely tap back in. And yeah. So with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, be notified, share at your own free will to shake care. Bye. Hold on. Because there's this one part. So this one woman, this woman that was in charge, like, okay, so this store was her business. And she wanted me to play a game so bad. Like, she was like, we was about to play a game, but then we looked at all the games and then we was about to leave somewhere else. I think we did leave somewhere else, but passing by that place, because we was like, we'd come back eventually, because the games was expensive. So we was like, we'd come back eventually. So me and I think it was my niece that was with me, and some family members. So we left there, but then we came back, and we was about to pass by the store, but she was standing outside waiting for us. So we went back in, and she was like, is y'all rich or something? I was like, no, but a lot of my family got money, so where we can afford certain things. And she was like, oh, okay. And then that's how she went me back into the game. So there was this one game, and it was about, like, some type of makeup. She wanted me to play that game specifically. I think my other, some of the other, well, my niece, she wanted to play the bowling game. So I'm sitting at the freaking makeup game because it was so weird because, okay, so the makeup, it's fake makeup, it's invisible makeup. But I guess on a machine, it perceives to be real makeup, but you're not really putting on the makeup. It's kind of an illusion. So I'm sitting there, but the coins didn't work, so I didn't get to play the game, but I knew what the game was about. So the games didn't work. It wound up being that none of the games would work, but we came back so that we could play the games because she was waiting on us. And then she felt some type of way. She was like, dang, it doesn't work. I was like, no, it doesn't work. So she trying her best to keep us there and trying to figure out how the game would work. Like, she's trying to get her machines to work because all of a sudden they stopped working. And that's something right there, because so when you use somebody, or when you like, you using a person, or you trying to get what you want out of a situation. Basically, she thought I was rich, so she wanted my money and she wanted to use me to kind of, bring in business. So that's God right there. When you use somebody and stuff like that, and stuff like this happens, all of a sudden her machines stop working. Her machines doesn't work because she tried to use me for that situation. So everything stopped working on her behalf. So we wound up leaving, but by the end of the dream, I was on I think it was like a merry-go-round, or a Ferris wheel, one of the two. No, it was a merry-go-round. What's the difference between a merry-go-round and a Ferris wheel? They kind of seem the same. Okay, so I was saying, I'm gonna say the Ferris wheel. So it was on the Ferris wheel. We was just sitting there, and then I guess somebody else wanted to get on, and I wound up disappearing, and then this girl got on. But then eventually, I think I reappeared back to my spot. So that was another part of the dream. I think that was the end of the dream. But there's still some more that I just want to keep talking about. This dream was so weird because it had different events, like different stuff that was happening. But yeah, the most crazy part was the house. Like the house was really different. You know, I keep going back to the house, but the house was so different. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna get out of that dream. But I will talk to y'all next time. Again, like, comment, subscribe, and notify, share, talk for you. Bye. Oh, the ground rising. Good morning.